Now is the time.
We're going to sit down and we're going to watch two guys go out there and nobody knows what's going to happen next.
Vargas comes to fight, but so do Ricardo Mayorga.
I'm going to give you this one last opportunity for you to be able to collect a check and thereafter a pension check because I'm going to retire you from boxing.
This will be my last fight. I do it for one reason and one reason only, and that's pride.
I'm going to do your wife a favor and not let her cry anymore after they disfigure every time that you go into the ring. Oh, hey!
We should have sold tickets to this.
With personalities more colorful than their national flags, the two reigning bad boys of boxing, ferocious Fernando Vargas and Ricardo El Matador Mayorga, are about to wake the world of boxing with a fight that could only be named the Brawl. Both have won world titles. Both have earned reputations for their combative attitudes inside the ropes and their outlandish behavior outside the ring. But despite their similarities, Vargas and Mayorga share a genuine and unconcealed hatred for one another.
Te voy a noquear, maricón, te voy a matar!
Vargas and Mayorga are similar in one way. Machismo is more important to them, at times it seems, than winning fights.
On September 8th, these two bad boys will come together not for money, not for titles, but for the sheer desire to fight. Follow them as they reflect on their past and prepare for the battle to come. Just north of Los Angeles, Fernando Vargas trains for the last fight of his career. But despite all his success, the anger that motivated him to first step in the ring continues to smolder.
My father was been in and out of my life as far as I can remember. And I had to grow up with a maggot stepfather, you know what I mean, which is a million times worse.
His anger and his rage and the animosity he feels towards his father, his biological father that he really didn't know, whether he wants to admit it or not, probably fueled a lot of what he's done in the game of boxing.
When you're a kid, you look for a man to teach you how to be a man, and when you don't have that, you know what I mean, it's hard.
Really the only role models he's had has been in boxing. Eduardo Garcia, his trainer, was a father figure, somebody who not only taught him how to box, but taught him how to be a man.
It's a
very good, close relationship that we've had. Because he felt very confident in me, I felt very endeared to him. In seeing that he had confidence in me, I had to demonstrate that I could respond equally.
I found boxing, and I thank God for that, you know what I mean? Because I was going nowhere quickly. I was 10 years old, already locked up in juvenile hall, had 6 batteries, doing community service. And, you know, I wanted so much to belong to something. If I would have been asked to join the gang, I probably would have done it.
Across the country, Ricardo Mayorga prepares for this all-important bout, motivated not only by hatred, but by love.
I've always said a man, he always has a lady, a number one lady in his heart, and that's my mom. Nobody can take it away. A fighter can be in the ring fighting and there can be 50,000 voices screaming, but he can hear his mother, his trainer, his family. And I hear my mother when she says, "Come on, son, I know you can do it." But when I know my mom is behind me sitting down and she's looking at me fighting, it makes me feel like a gladiator. And I love her so much, and I just want to get up and fight. I love it when she says, "Hit that sucker really hard." My dad was a taxi driver, and my mom had an open house, and she would make rosaries and stuff like that, you know? There wasn't enough food for all of us.
In Managua, Nicaragua, where he grew up, no running water, no electricity. As a matter of fact, one of the first things he did once he made some money was put in running water and electricity in his mom's house, and I believe it cost him about $40,000.
Champion! Ah, champion! Oh, great to see you.
I never get tired of saying that thanks to you and to God, my family has food on the table. I decided to go to Costa Rica because it had professional boxing. That's where I met Mr. Luis Leone, who is here present. He became my father, my friend, my brother. He will give me water, he will give me a home, he will give me food. And you know, it's been I don't know how many years already. And he's a quiet guy, he's a Catholic man, he's a great man. He doesn't mess with nobody. And you know, we've been together all this time. He's the guy that nicknamed me El Matador in Costa Rica.
Pero a veces,
but sometimes,
no sé, me dan ganas de ahorcarlo.
I just want to strangle him.
Digo, puta, se casó con mi hermana, imagínate.
He married my sister.
Tiene 4 años, está con mi hermana casado.
He has 4 years that he's been married to my sister.
Fernando Vargas is a fighter that fights with a lot of heart, a lot of passion.
He's the type of guy who's not afraid to really let himself be out there, and I think that's part of the reason why he's been such a fan favorite.
Whatever he has in his body and in his soul, he's gonna put it out that night.
The world sees that I'm an intelligent fighter. You know what I mean? I'm a great fighter. They appreciate that, and I appreciate that they appreciate me.
There's a segment of society out there that identifies with Vargas because he comes from a broken home, because he pulled himself up by his bootstraps, because he has so much pride. But once the bell rings inside that ring, he's all warrior. Whether he's going toe-to-toe with Winky Wright, or Ike Corte, or Felix Trinidad, or Oscar De La Hoya, there's no point in a fight where he says, you know what, tonight is not my night. Vargas is there to fight.
I'll always get up. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'll die trying to get up.
And it doesn't matter who the fighter is, how good they are, or what kind of beating he winds up taking in trying to appease his fans and his own pride.
His losses and the nights that he's been defeated are every bit as defining as some of the victories. And in this fight against Ricardo Mayorga, you're going to see in his final fight against a guy that is not considered a pound-for-pound performer, a very, very big audience, which is really a testimony to the impact of what Fernando Vargas has done.
The winner of the WBC Super Welterweight Championship of the World, Ricardo El Matador Mayorga.
I think Ricardo Mayorga is exactly what he appears to be, and that is an eccentric. I think it's just who he is, and I think it even relates to his fighting. He'd fight anybody in any weight class at any time. He likes to fight.
If you didn't know who he was and you wound up in the ring with him, you wound up in a world of pain. You wound up in hell, and Ricardo Mayorga was Satan.
I was born to be a champion, otherwise I wouldn't have made it.
When you look at a Ricardo Mayorga, just looking at him as a human being outside the ring, this is a hardened individual that's seen a lot in his life. What he grew up with was with a dream to be able to break his way out of his poverty with his 2 fists.
This is a guy who has come up the ranks with his own guile, his own toughness, his own savagery, really. I mean, he is able to out blood and guts most fighters of today.
I want to tell the public, my fans, everybody, please have faith in me. I won't disappoint you. I'm going to be a champion. I'm going to make it, and I'm going to beat this guy. I'm going to win this fight. I'm going to become a world champion again.
As Fernando Vargas continues to train for his final fight, he still carries the burden of bitter emotions towards his biological father.
I did have a sparring with my father. One time he came into the La Colonia boxing gym trying to tell me, you know, I should do this and I should do that in sparring. And I got pissed off, you know what I mean? And I told him to put on the gloves and show me. I remember putting it on him, knocking him down with a body shot or 2, and then telling him to get up. Let me see, be a man and get the fuck up.
He used to imagine his biological father's face on his opponent's face. And as soon as the bell rang, he went to get some revenge. Garcia taught him, hey, focus yourself, learn your craft in boxing, make something of yourself, and be a father to your own children. And I think Vargas tries very hard to do that, and I think he does pull that off.
I know that I'm real protective over my kids because of what I've gone through. And I make sure that, my kids know that I love them. And I tell them that every day. We had my first son, Fernando Vargas Jr. This is him right here, over here. And then we had Amado, Fernando Vargas, super dark like his dad. Emiliano, big old head like his uncle. And then my little girl was just born. Well, I'm gonna have my daughter right here by herself, so when people go, oh, is that your daughter? I'm gonna have a short sleeve shirt, you know what I mean? People, oh, is that your daughter? She's so beautiful. I'm like, yeah, I know. And, oh, is that all you gotta go? No, these guys take care of her. And if I gotta get involved, I'm really gonna go to jail for life.
Pónganse a ver cartoons, yeah. Pónganse a ver cartoons. See, that's why. This is why I leave the house.
I'm a villain. My nature is to be bad. I'm a villain with my opponents, not my family. My family I don't have reason to be bad with. I want to be at my house with my 9 children. People might think of me as this aggressive person, that I have a fierce look, but I'm not really like that. I do have feelings too. I like to be at home with my children and play with my children. I don't care about the names, I don't care about the merits, and I don't care about if one day I might be inducted into the Hall of Fame. All I care about is the money and being able to spend it and enjoy it with my family.
I'd like to say and I'd like to declare publicly what I've always felt. That fatty over here has always been afraid of me.
I told him that I got something fat for him. I'm gonna show him at 162 how fat I look. Ripped up. And I'm ripped right now, but I'm getting down even more, so you guys are gonna see. At the weigh-ins, I'm gonna see, here's Fat Boy. Here's Fat Boy. He said he was training for 2.5 months. I've been training since January. I was in Ojai for months, doing pre-camps, running, swimming, playing basketball drills, and now I'm doing the camp. So I'm in great shape.
Right now, we're just maximizing his metabolism, using food to lose weight, eating every 2-3 hours, and eating the foods in a certain combination that makes it possible for him to still have energy to spar and do all the things that he needs to do. I mean, he's been working since January, so he's in he's in great shape.
But right now, we're talking about a sandwich. It's healthy, and it's all approved by Rob Lorenzo Ferguson, and I've always made weight. So, enjoy this.
Despite his reputation as a free spirit, Mayorga's daily training includes a 7-mile run and 3-hour workout.
This is a throwback to the older days. It's a calisthenic type of warm-up to make sure he's loose, limber, he's not going to pull anything. But Mayorga, as everybody knows, he's unusual. He's not your typical fighter. He does things his way, the way he wants to do it. So this is definitely, his one of his traits, drinking Cuban coffee and doing these type of calisthenics.
Bueno, porque el café trae cafeína y eso te tira como una vitamina.
This one is what they call it the Cuban shot, and then it has a lot of coffee in it and caffeine, so it gives you the power to.
Y como el gimnasio tiene aire, esto me ayuda como a sudar más.
It gives them that extra boost.
Extra boost.
Estoy bien en el peso porque estoy en 172. Y la pelea es en 6'2", estoy bien, pero esto me ayuda a sudar.
I'm good in the weight, I'm just 10 pounds over, but this makes me sweat more, it gives me more power.
In life, you never stop learning. I think I've gotten to a point where I've learned a lot. And I've been training for 2 months already with Luis Leone, and this time I've learned, and I'm going to knock out Vargas. I'm going to tell you something I haven't even told my family. And it's something that's still under my skin. I haven't been able to get over the fight with De La Hoya. I've looked for the answer to why I haven't accepted it, and what I think I've done in my soul searching is that I need to fight somebody and beat him. And just get it over with and feel better about myself beating somebody. Whoever comes up, whoever it is, any fighter, I just want to beat him. I'm going to hit Vargas as hard as I can because I just want to let it out. I want to let all of this out of my system.
As these two fighters focus on their battle to come, both have left the comforts of their luxurious homes for the relatively Spartan conditions of small furnished apartments.
I like to get away. When you're at this level, you want to isolate yourself and get away from everything. All we need is the bare essentials when we're in camp.
Here, after training, Fernando Vargas prepares for his life beyond the ropes.
I'm making this last fight for pride, and that will be it. I'm not going to fight no more. Believe me.
We have 2 scripts that are going to be coming your way. Oliver Stone is producing one of these. It's supposed to be a real good movie.
10 years from now, I hope to be the best father that I can be to my kids. Second of all, be the best in business I can be. Also, with PEP, be amongst boxing and help fighters, become world champions and also, make their money, and keep their money. I'm going to miss hitting people, but I'm not going to miss getting hit. You know what I mean? So people will see and they're like, these are boxers' hands, right? Look, teeth marks. And these are not from boxing, at least legally, sanctioned fights. You know what I mean? So it's fucking bullshit that I had to go through. You believe this shit?
While Vargas prepares for the future, Ricardo Mayorga, away from training, remains firmly entrenched in the present, missing his family, constantly seeking fun, and obsessing about Vargas.
This is how fighters live, messy. Things that my lady writes to me. And my Bible, because I believe in God and I like reading the Bible.
Aquí. Voy a pegar fuerte ahí y decirle. No. Este juego es tan difícil que es más fácil pegarle a Vargas que ganar aquí.
This game is hard. It's so difficult. It's easier to punch Vargas and beat Vargas and come into the game.
Mira, a mí me gusta darle de comer a los patos así, ¿eh?
I feed the ducks too here sometimes.
Vargas, el más chiquito.
The little one is Vargas.
Smog. Heineken. Buena. Corriendo carro. Me he dado vuelta 9 veces y todavía estoy vivo.
He says, I've rolled the car 9 times, I'm still alive.
Voy aquí, voy.
If death comes, it'll come by way of a car.
Me gusta la velocidad, me gusta desafiar el peligro a mí.
He likes speed and he likes to live dangerously.
He'll beat Vargas, perfect timing too. Vargas he's done. He can't take a punch anymore. He'll go down. He'll knock him out.
If you guys were together right now, would you smack him again?
I'll smack him. Smack him in his face.
There really is, I think, some mind games going on often at press conferences. Whether it's effective remains to be seen, but fighters certainly try very hard to get in their opponents' heads, sometimes intimidate them, sometimes just make them think about something.
Fernando Vargas and Ricardo Mayorga, they believe round number 1 really begins from the day that the fight is consummated and the ink is dry on the paper, and then you size each other up. And it's almost like two fighters, high noon at the OK Corral, just kind of looking at each other. They don't get to shoot the guns until the day of the fight, but they really believe the psychological battle does begin from the moment you face off against each other at a press conference.
There was a meltdown at the LA press conference, and it was one of those things where you expected some kind of a scuffle, some kind of pushing and shoving. I did not expect punches to be thrown and punches to actually land, and I don't think that was a premeditated thing. I don't think Mayorga agreed to be hit twice in the face by hard right hands from Fernando Vargas. He came out of that scuffle scuffed up, and he was very angry afterwards.
The fact that there was an incident at the press conference was about as surprising as the sun coming up in the morning. I mean, these two could be in a church pew and they would go at it.
Maybe verbally, since Ricardo was the first and he kind of instigated it, may have won that round. In terms of actual punching, it looks like Fernando evened up the score.
So I took on my glasses and made sure I looked at him. When he was saying certain things and saying things about my wife, and I just started spitting stuff to him in Spanish to get him pissed off. Then he tried to grab me. I ripped him with 2 left uppercuts to the face.
I don't know. I just told him, you see this hand? This hand is going to hit you. And then the guy grabbed my hand and a bunch of his gorillas grabbed me and started beating me. That's what they did. They hit me.
When things like that happen in boxing, I think sometimes it is showmanship, but I think there are times, especially when you have 2 guys who really look at themselves as alpha males. They want to go into that ring knowing I've already won round 1.
I already beat him the first fight.
I know it's not just scared, but I know it's fear that he has in his eyes. And I know that he's afraid of fighting me.
How does all of that needling in 4-letter words in 2 languages by Mayorga work? For Mayorga or for Vargas?
I think when the bell rings for this fight, we will see toe-to-toe action almost from the beginning.
This is a fan's fight. Boxing at its best because you're going to see it. Excitamente, excitamente, excitamente.
When I come out, all my family is going to go to the casinos and bet that I'm going to knock him out.
Every fighter has a plan till he gets hit.
You're going to see 2 guys who hate each other meet in the center of the ring and wing leather at each other all night, and we're going to see someone be able to take it and someone win the fight. I really think it's that simple.
I'm stronger, I'm more intelligent, and I'm a better fighter.
It's better for him to die as a fighter and go down fighting instead of running.
He's going to come at me, right? And that's perfect. That's what I want. Come at me. You're going to do what I want you to do in my fight.
Vargas is in a very precarious situation. He says that he's doing this fight for legacy and pride and to be remembered for something. That's great in theory if you win.
And after I'm done with Vargas, Fatty Vargas, I'll go 154, so be ready because I'm going to beat all of you. I'm coming after you.
Both men need this as a win.
It could go either way in terms of who has a better chin.
I dislike him so much. And you will all see that I will hit him so hard that I'm sure he will go down in the first round interchanging punches with me.
It's a fight worth paying for.